Honor Student to Fugitive, The True Story. Part 1. The Perfect Student. The story begins in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Ohio, a place where families left their doors unlocked and teenagers prepared for college entrance exams. Among them was Daniel Harper, a name that quickly became synonymous with success. Daniel wasn't just a good student. He was the kind of young man parents held up as an example for their own kids. Top of his class, captain of the debate team, volunteering at the local food bank on weekends. Teachers praised his intelligence while classmates admired his quiet confidence. He had acceptance letters already lining up from prestigious universities, including an early interest from Harvard. At home, Daniel was the pride of his parents. His mother, a nurse, often told friends she never had to worry about him. His father, a retired firefighter, described Daniel as disciplined, humble, and responsible. Neighbors recalled seeing him jogging every morning before school, waving politely at everyone he passed. By all accounts, Daniel was the kind of boy who seemed destined for greatness. But what no one realized was that beneath the clean image, a storm was brewing. The cracks began to show in subtle ways. A friend noticed Daniel had stopped joining the debate club's practice sessions. His English teacher mentioned he'd missed 2 essay deadlines, something that had never happened before. And then there were whispers that Daniel had started hanging out with a new crowd, a group of older guys known for skipping school and dabbling in small-time drug deals. At first, nobody believed it. How could Daniel Harper, the honor student, be caught up with them? But late-night sightings at convenience stores and parking lots suggested otherwise. The truth was, Daniel was struggling. He felt the weight of everyone's expectations pressing down on him, the constant need to be perfect, to achieve, to impress, to live up to the golden boy image was suffocating. In secret, he started experimenting with alcohol and pills, desperate for an escape. Still, nobody outside his closest circle suspected anything was wrong. His family continued to brag about him. His teachers still saw the brilliance. But Daniel was drifting, and soon a single mistake would change everything. One cold November evening, Daniel borrowed his father's car. He told his parents he was going to study at the library. Instead, he drove across town to meet his new friends. That night, they planned something reckless, a convenience store robbery. For Daniel, it was supposed to be a thrill, a way to prove himself to the older guys. He told himself nobody would get hurt. Just grab the cash, scare the clerk, and leave. But in real life, things rarely go according to plan. And that night was the beginning of Daniel. Harper's fall from honor student to fugitive. Please tell us where you are watching us from. Watch out for Part 2. Honor Student to Fugitive, The True Story. Part 2. From Golden Boy to Wanted Man. The robbery wasn't supposed to be violent. At least that's what Daniel told himself. He'd stand in the background, hoodie pulled over his head, while his friends demanded money from the cashier. The whole thing would take less than 5 minutes. But the store clerk panicked. When one of the older boys waved a gun, the clerk reached for the silent alarm. In the chaos that followed, the gun went off. A single shot echoed through the store, striking the clerk in the shoulder. Suddenly, this wasn't a game. This was a felony. The boys grabbed what little cash they could and bolted. Daniel, shaking and terrified, drove them away. He kept repeating to himself that the clerk wasn't dead, that it wasn't that bad. But deep down, he knew it was over. The boy everyone thought they knew, the bright student, the future lawyer or doctor, was now an armed robbery suspect. The police investigation moved quickly. Surveillance cameras caught blurry images of the suspects, and witnesses described the getaway car, a car that matched Daniel's father's old sedan. Within days, detectives were knocking on the Harper family's door. At first, Daniel denied everything. He told his parents it was a mistake, that the car must have been stolen. His mother believed him. His father wanted to. But when the police returned with stronger evidence, Daniel realized the walls were closing in. And so one night, instead of turning himself in, Daniel made a choice that shocked everyone. He ran. With a backpack stuffed with clothes and a handful of cash, Daniel disappeared. For weeks, he hopped between motels and couch-surfed with distant acquaintances. The local news ran his photo daily, calling him the honor student fugitive. His story went viral. How could a boy with such promise throw it all away? But running only made things worse. The longer he stayed on the run, the guiltier he looked. His once proud parents were now scrutinized by reporters. Teachers who once sang his praises shook their heads in disbelief. The manhunt intensified. Police followed tips across 3 states. Some claimed to spot Daniel in bus stations. Others swore they saw him working odd jobs under a fake name. Each time, the trail went cold. Meanwhile, Daniel's mental state spiraled. Alone and exhausted, he wrote journal entries confessing his shame. He wanted to go back, to explain himself. But fear kept him moving. He convinced himself he had no future. That, even if he surrendered, nobody would ever forgive him. And so, Daniel Harper, once the pride of his town, became a ghost, a fugitive in his own country. Please tell us where you are watching us from. Watch out for Part 3, Honor Student to Fugitive, The True Story. Part 3, The Fall and the Lessons. Months passed before authorities finally caught up with Daniel. It happened in Texas, nearly 200 miles from his hometown. A tip from a bus driver who recognized his face led police to a rundown apartment where Daniel was hiding under a false identity. The arrest was swift. Daniel, thin and weary, didn't resist. Witnesses recall him whispering, "I'm tired of running." Back in Ohio, the news of his capture was met with both relief and heartbreak. His parents wept as they saw him escorted in handcuffs. His once bright future now shattered. The trial was sensational. Prosecutors painted Daniel as a dangerous young man who chose crime over responsibility. The defense argued he was a good kid who made one terrible mistake under pressure. Teachers testified about his brilliance. Former classmates cried on the stand, saying the Daniel they knew could never be a criminal. But the evidence was clear. Daniel was part of the robbery that left an innocent man wounded. The jury deliberated for 2 days before delivering their verdict: guilty on charges of armed robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. Daniel Harper, the honor student once destined for greatness, was sentenced to 20 years in prison. For many, the story was a cautionary tale about peer pressure, hidden struggles, and how quickly life can unravel. For others, it was a tragedy, proof that even the brightest among us can fall when the weight of perfection becomes unbearable. In prison, Daniel reportedly turned back to books, tutoring fellow inmates for their GED exams. He wrote letters to his parents apologizing for the pain he caused. In interviews, he admitted his biggest regret wasn't running from the law. It was running from the truth. "Maybe if I had asked for help," he once said, "I wouldn't be here." Today, Daniel's story continues to circulate online, a reminder that honor students are not invincible and that behind even the brightest smiles, there can be battles no one sees. From honor student to fugitive, Daniel Harper's journey is one that still haunts his community, a chilling reminder that one decision can change everything. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.